but last night was quite the adventure. And so I fell asleep, and then...
Thank goodness. Holy crap.
Oh, I think I hit that. I like that he's looking at all angles of this. Morning vlog. It's Saturday, and so we are going home today. But last night was quite the adventure, the predicament.
The longest night ever.
The longest night ever. So I guess it was around like 8 or something. I started saying that like finally my cough is dried up, and it felt like it was all just kind of stuck in my chest. But it was, at least I wasn't like hacking up a lung anymore, which I guess that wasn't a good thing, but I got a break from it for a little bit because my lack of abs super hurts from coughing so much. But then I also kind of feel like my insides are having a problem too, so it's just a big predicament in there. And so we just thought that my cough was kind of getting dry and weird, and then around like 12 o'clock, wasn't that when?
Yeah.
Around 12 o'clock I started, I thought that I was just not coughing, like not producing a cough.
3 grades
but
of gasoline.
it was I was breathing, and then instead of like coughing, my body would like, all the muscles were like, and the air would come out, and it sounded like somewhat of like a sneeze and the world's weakest cough. And that went on for about an hour and a half, and Zeus was just listening to me, and like so then she gave me the rescue inhaler for my asthma, which the asthma hasn't been a big problem for us for probably like 10 years. So we thought that was behind us, apparently not. And then that didn't work, that did nothing, so then we did something else. Laying on my stomach rather than on my back, because I already have breathing problems which I wasn't laying down anyways, but leaning forward rather than kind of leaning back. And then we tried doing a steam to try to open up my airways with the warmth of the water, and that didn't work either. It was just really, really hot in there. Everybody was sweating, and I was still breathing like, but quietly. And then when we went out of there, we forgot to take off the plastic bag that we'd covered the vent with. So then the fire alarm went off in our hotel room. Luckily, the ceiling was kind of lowish, so he just poked the button and it stopped going off. And then it was to the emergency room for Schmelinor and her lack of breathing lungs. So then get to the ER, and it's a very, 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 very tiny hospital, and they have us waiting out in the waiting room, and Zeus goes to the desk thing, and this one guy like runs the whole emergency department by himself, at least before you're in the back part. And then there was only like 2 or 3 people back there running that whole situation, but he brought us back there and then had the doctor come before they even did the blood and all those things that they normally do before. He had me go in the back, and then they did some blood work. It was mostly fine. The things that were off weren't that big of a deal, and they weren't off by too much. And then so then they did a steroid injection into my IV, which they had thought that they wanted to do a chest CT, which luckily they didn't end up doing because we would still be at the hospital right now waiting. And then I did a nebulizer for 1 hour. I think it actually took like an hour and a half because I could see a clock. And by the end of that I was breathing like, and then I've cleared out a lot of the goop out of my main airway, because at first when I was breathing you could just hear all the goop like, or at least I could. I don't know if they could, but then when I would cough it sounded terrible. So we are now headed to a pharmacy to pick up my prescription of steroids, so that hopefully this asthma attack thing will have the, I don't know, over with, under control, because we did not expect my asthma to cause a problem, because I haven't had a problem in a really long time, and it's only, well, it's infection induced asthma, so obviously there's some sort of something happening. And then the asthma was like, oh, you think that you're fixing one problem with your body? Well, here I come. And then being annoying and dumb just like the rest of my body. Driving back to the airport, but we're driving through the middle of the woods. Probably not actually the middle of the woods, it's just trees, but it's beautiful. Look, if you can't see, but I can, that house that is currently behind all the trees has one of those water mill thingamabobs, so that it can make something out of water power. And there's a guy running down there by the rushing water. See, can you see the wheel thing now? Not really. There's the Pentagon! Although it just looks like a flattish building to us because we can't see all 5 sides. But we got off on the wrong exit, so then we saw the Pentagon. Whoa! And the streets here make me kind of dizzy because it feels like we're going around and around and around.
Watch out.
Would you?
What are you doing? Buddy, look,
no,
he's like actually stopped. Really loud, so I'll face you this way so I can be closer to the microphone. We're sitting in the first row, so it's plenty of space for my tiny little legs. And but even better is that, like, I don't know, it feels less like ducky or whatever, and my cough is kind of just weird and feels like I can't breathe again, but whatever. Happy oh my gosh, my voice. What is happening to it? Happy Sunday vlog. Look, it's Zeus and her slave, aka Taylor, and they're correcting a lot of work that Zeus didn't correct while we were gone.
And then there's more at my classroom.
There's more at her classroom. This morning,
oh, is that us?
my nebulizer is now kicking in. I did that like probably an hour ago, and it's finally working a bit so I can breathe and get enough air down to cough, because this morning when I woke up I was just laying there like and then I was just like laying there more like and then yesterday the vlog just cut out early because like midway through that second to last flight, because I just couldn't anymore. My body was just like and so I fell asleep, and then
Thank goodness.
it was
bad.
My whole body is just so uncomfortable today still, and I coughed out something hard and white, so that's in a Ziploc on the counter. Yuck. And
You can show it to them.
well, like,
if they've had that experience, they can tell you what it is.
well, this isn't going out for 2 weeks, so it doesn't really matter.
We'll know what it is by then.
Yeah, I don't. It looks kind of stringy in here, but it's not. It's hard white goop from inside of my bod, and
I got my first 100%.
I also have been continuing to cough up the green-gray grossness, and we think that all this is just an asthma problem, but I don't know. I haven't had asthma attack in 10 plus years, so I don't know.
Oh, they changed the other one.
Oh my gosh, when I breathe in, it just feels like I'm working really hard, so talking's kind of hard. So I don't think I'll be talking to you guys for a little bit, for a few days.
It's actually pretty smart. Who is?
What is happening? Taylor just got out of doggy jail. All 3 doggies are inside, even Sadie. And Milton had like jumped up on the counter. That's why I turned on the camera in the first place. But it's because Nolan and all his friends or whoever's are in the front yard, because he came home from baseball today. And let's go. And then the boys are probably gonna come in and eat pizza. So they're trying to eat the pizza before the boys come in and take all the pizza. And Milton, be nice. Oh jeez. Oh gosh, I can't breathe, you guys. We're going, we're at Zeus's classroom. You can't see her, but Taylor's right there-ish.
Hi.
And Zeus is back there. No, oh.
It says right turn only, but I don't care.
Oh jeez. She's lazy. It's not like there's any cars out right now.
I always go left hand when there are cars. Holy crap.
Oh, I think I hit that.
Ellen! You're killing me! I thought we were gonna wreck. I started sweating. Oh my gosh! I was like, what the heck? I swear I didn't do anything.
It's because Ellen has really bad reflexes or really jerky motions, and I tried to reach for the volume controller, and apparently I knocked us out of gear. But I can't tell how hard I hit things, so I thought that I just tapped it. Apparently not. That's what, oh my gosh, that's a po-po.
I know, I got it. 10 and 2, Taylor.
10 and 2. Maybe it's Delaney's dad, but
Hi, Mr. Phillips.
I seriously.
Wait, guys, LOL, I just did an illegal left.
Hey, slow your jets. You want to let him go far away from us.
Okay, we're trying to go to Graham's house.
Ooh, that's
for
pretty.
Graham
Get on your side of the road.
For Graham to dye Zeus's hair.
No, she's not dyeing it. She's enhancing the beauty.
Oh, enhance the beauty of Zeus's hair. I can't talk. Bye. Good morning. I thought that I forgot you at home. Well, I did, but he remembered to grab you. Yay, Dad. Yeah. And we already had my appointment at the chronic fatigue clinic at Stanford again. And I need to message him in 2 weeks about the new medication that I'm taking. It's Abilify, but a really low dose. Like, you have to draw it up in an insulin syringe, low dose. So less than 1 milligram, and right now we're headed to go find lunch, and because really not much has changed since the last time I came here. Oh, don't run over the people who look like they work here. Oops, phone down. And anything else? I can't really remember.
I can make it through there, huh?
No, I think we've ran into a dead end. But it's very confusing. Oh, look, we can drive through right here. At this point with my neck and having the chronic fatigue, because nobody's really sure what's coming from what. And so he's hoping that the Abilify will help with some of the symptoms that are blamed on my neck at this point, but also that might not happen. So, guess that's it, right?
Yeah, he seems very hopeful that the Abilify is going to do wonders.
Yeah.
I don't know about wonders. But
There were, not necessarily him, but some of my other doctors were very hopeful about the naltrexone too, which, I mean, it's in me. I wouldn't say it's like the miracle worker or anything, but it's definitely done less harm than other things have done so far. So in 2 weeks I need to message him about that, and then we're not increasing the naltrexone like what would normally be done at this point, because depending on whenever the surgery happens, having a lot of naltrexone in your system is not really a good thing for that, because it blocks the
effectiveness of the opioids.
Yeah, however that works inside of your brain or inside of your nerves or whatever, it doesn't work well. Which I'm pretty sure isn't naltrexone what is used for an opioid overdose anyways. So it'll counteract the effectiveness. And he was like, I don't really want to just set you up for taking a bunch of opioids and have nothing happen and just be in a ton of pain after the surgery. So I like that he's looking at all angles of this, because I kind of feel like a certain one of my other doctors who had wanted me on naltrexone at one point would be like, well, this is what I want, and if you end up in a ton of pain after surgery, well, I'm not taking care of you after surgery, so this is what's happening. Not like I had a doctor say that or anything. Oh my gosh! Look how fluffy! It's a dog of some kind. Hello, it's Tuesday, and I pretty much just like ditched out on you guys yesterday, and then Taylor came over this morning and was hanging out, and then she took a nap, and now I'm back to typing and doing homework and tired. My breathing is okay-ish today. Like, I already did the nebulizer once this afternoon / morning-ish, noonish, and then I've been doing reading and typing. Yesterday I just kind of ditched out because I've just been confused in the head lately, and a lot of things are just happening in my head, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but I guess from the appointment from last week, I haven't really processed any of that, and like yesterday it hit me like, I'm actually gonna have surgery, and I might actually feel better after that. I mean, my dad always tells me, your results may vary, so we don't know how much better I will feel, but hopefully I will start feeling better after that. And what is on my face? Oh great, a scab, because I've been picking at my face. So that's lovely. I think we know what day surgery is going to be, because it was one of the days that they said that was available, and it works out on all of our schedules, because we have to schedule around Zeus's chemo, and then Nolan has some more college things that need to happen before like the beginning of the year too, but we only have, I think, like 7 more weeks in this year. We're probably more than that, but I don't really know. I mean, we're in November already. Whoa, we're in November. I could wear my Christmas sweaters. What am I doing? I'm wearing mermaid pants and a mermaid shirt, and I could be wearing Christmas sweaters. It just hit me that it's also November. So, and then yesterday, he seems really, really excited that, and hopeful that the new med that I'm starting today, probably, I don't know, CVS was messed up about the dose of it, because I am taking such a tiny amount. Like normal is 10 to 30 milligrams, and I'm taking 0.25 milligrams, so a quarter milligram of it. The doctor seemed really, really excited and like hopeful about that yesterday. But when people start getting excited about my bod and things, I start to look at them like, are you okay in the head? Are you gonna be okay over there? Because I've had other doctors get excited and then they give up like a year or 2 later. About 3 years ago, my pain doctor told my mom, or promised my mom, that I'd be better in 2.5 years. Is she sure about that? And then the headache doctor promised they'd fix me. My allergist used to get really, really excited about my bod and all the things back when we first even started my allergy stuff, which was surprisingly around like 10 years old. And I don't know how we made it that many years without me like dying, because I am allergic to peanuts even in the air, and all those years I was eating lunch in the cafeteria at school. Don't know how that happened, but good job, my bod. So he was really excited about that, and I don't really know how I feel about that. I mean, I have to contact him in 2 weeks to tell him how, or 2 weeks from starting it, how that's going and all those things, and to see if we should change the dose or what. I don't really think anything is going to change, but we'll see. And then usually they would change the med that I am already on, the dose of it, but that can interact with medications for surgery and things, so he just doesn't want to deal with that or mess with that right now. I think we were talking about my neck and everything, and I think he's under the impression that I haven't been diagnosed with the instability hasn't been seen on imaging, because he was telling me about how he's had other patients start this med and they didn't even have to investigate their neck problems, and he's like, maybe you won't even need a neck brace. And I was looking at him like, no, surgery is happening before the end of the year, which then he was very confused and wanted us to get a second opinion. But then I explained that no, both doctors have said that surgery is necessary, it's just a matter of when. And I don't know if this is like not a thing. Well, I feel like it should definitely not be a thing, but his jaw, if he was a cartoon character, would have hit the floor when I said that our local neurosurgeon, like not local to where I live, but local in comparison to the one in Maryland, said that there definitely is craniocervical instability, but we're not doing anything about it until there's permanent damage to your spinal cord. And his jaw about hit the floor, and he was like, whoa. So I guess that's not a thing, but whatever. It doesn't matter now, because I'm seeing a different neurosurgeon about it and everything. But then I've been so stressed out about the whole surgery situation, because there's a couple, about I think 2 or 3 different topics of why I'm stressed out about it. The first 2 are kind of the same, but when I have conversations with people, the reason why I have a lot of struggles in my life, like trying to actually speak, because I remember entire conversations, and not every conversation I remember, but the ones that I do, I remember the entire thing. And well, in a day, like if I had a conversation with somebody, I'd probably be thinking about it all day long. So the day that we had the neurosurgery appointment and everything, I just thought about that all day, and I'm just still thinking about it. Like, I have very, very large chunks of conversation just like in my head, and then I like perseverate over one part of it forever and a day. And the part that I've been really like stuck on right now is we're talking about how like after surgery, it's very, very important to keep my head straight and not let it be all bobbly all over the place, because that could cause problems later down. And he said, I don't want to see you back here in a year having problems at lower down. And I'm like, what if that happens? Oh my gosh, I don't want that to happen either, but like, what if it happens? I've known it's a possibility for that to happen, because my dad has been talking to one of his friends' sisters, I think, whose child also has EDS or something. I don't really know the full story, but she had the skull to C2 fusion done like I think a year or two ago, and now is having trouble at 5'6", and is like everything's falling apart again. And but it makes me stressed out, because he said like that he doesn't want that to happen, and like neither do I. But then what if it does happen? And Mom's like, we'll just cross that bridge when we get there, and like if it happens, it happens. And it's not like I tried to make it happen, but it just, life happens and things happen. But then I've also been kind of stressed out about it, because my neck muscles are actually quite tight from being in the neck brace, just from not moving into its full range of motion. But the muscles are actually pretty strong in like all things considered. They're actually strong. Like, that's why I've broken like 10 collars at this point. But I'm stressed out about them stretching out again after coming off. And then I'm like, well, what if it was there was instability before, and then now that the muscles are all tight, it's kind of holding it together. But then what if they stressed out? Like, that's how my entire brain is just like discombobulated, and I feel like I'm spinning in my head. And then the other part was just like the fact that there's going to be screws in my head. And then I've been stressed out though mostly about the screws in the back of my head, the possibly the I don't want to see you back here in a year situation. And then I've been stressing because what if this doesn't help my lower body, which I'm not really expecting it to, because the collar didn't help my lower body at all. But I feel like there's an expectation for it too. And then if it doesn't, like, is the whole world going to be disappointed? Because like, I don't know if it's a thing that is something that I should probably work on this, but I don't really, like, I get scared and I have like major fears and weird things, like those kind of emotions about my body, and mostly just fear though of things. But like I never really get disappointed about things in my body unless I'm feeding off disappointment of somebody else about that situation, which is totally messed up in the head and everything. But I don't know why I don't. I think this is something that I need to work on, and it's like I need to work on acknowledging those emotions and then expressing them in a way that's not just kind of just like in the head, because that's kind of where I am right now. But I guess I should get back to typing, and you're running out of battery, and I think Sadie is here because Taylor brought her over and then she was gonna take her home, but then Hans is home, so I don't know, unless Sadie's just hanging out here for a while. I guess, yeah, you guys can tell that my breathing's doing a lot better, especially after I nebulize, but it gets kind of tight, and since I've started the antibiotic, I haven't been coughing up as much green gray goop, so I guess that's good. But except for, the reason why I say I guess and not that's good, because it hasn't changed the fact that a lot of times I get really, really tight, and when I breathe you can hear it all whistly and gross. Like, you can kind of hear it now, but obviously I'm getting enough air because I'm talking like 1,000,000 miles a minute, but also that's just because my brain feels like it's spinning out of control.